What does proper rotation mean? Proper rotation is a term used by the health department to ensure we are using our products in the order we receive them. This means that the pineapple cans we received last week should be used before the pineapple cans we received this week. This ensures that we are not selling older, dated food. What does proper storage mean? Proper storage is a term used by the health department to ensure we are storing all of our food products safely. For example, uncovered cans are not proper storage, as they can easily contaminate it. Another example, unlabeled food products and food products without a use-by date are also not considered proper storage. Follow this video and guide for storage of our toppings. A written guide will be posted to help remind you of the information covered in this video. Sundae toppings. Strawberries. When you open a new container of strawberries, they should be mashed and then stored in cold topping containers. Cold topping containers should have a wax paper labeled with strawberries and the use by date, 7 days after opening, and a metal lid. Strawberries should be kept in the refrigerator. If you do not have enough cold topping containers handy, follow this backup option. Strawberries, as backup only, can be stored in their tub. Tub should be labeled with strawberries and the use by date. Please note, this is a backup option only. As soon as a cold topping container is freed up, you should transfer the strawberries into it. Pineapples. When you open a new can of pineapples topping, it should be stored in cold topping containers. Cold topping containers should have a wax paper labeled with pineapples, the use by date, 7 days after opening, and a metal lid. Pineapples should be kept in the refrigerator. If you do not have enough cold topping containers handy, follow this backup option. Pineapples should be placed in a clean small tub with a lid. Tub should be labeled with pineapples and the use by date. Pineapples are never permitted to be stored in cans. Peaches. When you open a new can of peach topping, it should be stored in cold topping containers. Cold topping containers should have a wax paper labeled with pineapples, the use by date, 7 days after opening, and a metal lid. Peaches should be kept in the refrigerator. If you do not have enough cold topping containers handy, follow this backup option. Peaches should be placed in a clean small tub with a lid and label. Tub should be labeled with peaches and the use by date. Peaches are never permitted to be stored in cans. Cherries and crushed cherries. Whole cherries and crushed cherries should always be kept in their original containers, and a use by date should be written on the lid in Sharpie. Before filling whole or crushed cherries out front, be sure to clean the cold topping container. Once the container has been opened, whole and crushed cherries should be kept in the refrigerator. Wet walnuts. Wet walnuts are made and stored in their labeled tub in the refrigerator. A use by date should be written on a piece of masking tape and placed on the tub. Marshmallow sauce. When opening a new can of marshmallow topping, the entire can should get emptied into squeeze bottles. Squeeze bottles should be labeled with tape, and the label should say marshmallow and a use by date. Marshmallow is never permitted to be stored in a can. Marshmallow squeeze bottles are kept above the microwave. Peanut butter sauce. When opening a new container of peanut butter, stir the container well. Then, the entire container should get emptied into squeeze bottles. Squeeze bottles should be labeled with tape, and the label should say peanut butter and a use by date. Peanut butter is never permitted to be stored in its original container. Peanut butter squeeze bottles are kept above the microwave. Butterscotch. Butterscotch should always be kept in its original container, and a use by date should be written on the lid in Sharpie. Butterscotch is kept above the microwaves. Other toppings. Cheese. When flipping cheese, the bottom of the can being flipped should be placed into this cheese can. Due to the cheese cans usually having rust, we cannot keep the cheese in their original cans in the fridge. Label this can with masking tape and write cheese and the use by date. Cheese should be stored in the fridge. As soon as you're able to, this cheese should be placed on top of the cheese in the warmer. You should never ever add cheese from multiple cans into this can. As soon as there is room, The cheese in this container should be flipped on top of the cheese being served in the warmer. Mustard. Mustard squeeze bottles should be cleaned between filling. This includes completely cleaning the lids of the squeeze bottles. Be sure to only have one mustard container open at a time on the shelf above the mop closet. Candy toppings. Candy toppings should all be kept in their original bag and be sealed with a rubber band or tape. The bag should be placed in its original box and be in its proper place on the shelf. Most candy toppings are kept in the fridge, while some are kept on the shelf between the walk-ins. Be sure to fill candy using proper rotation.